let's turn there from what's been happening turbulently externally to what's been happening internally. Because internally, today was the day when the GDP numbers came out for the first quarter of 2021. And that shows that the economy, after taking a massive hit during the COVID pandemic, there are some signs in the GDP figures, or at least that's how the government was projecting, that it's back on track. India recorded a 20.1% growth in the first quarter, the fastest ever growth in a given quarter. But remember, this high growth also reflects the low base of 2020, when, remember, the Indian economy contracted by as much as 24% during the lockdown. So what does all this really mean? Has the Modi government been able to get the economy back on track? Or is this, as some are saying, classic window dressing? So what do these GDP numbers really mean for the state of the economy? Joining us now is a key points person of the government, the Chief Economic Advisor, Dr. K Subramanian. I appreciate your joining us, Dr. Subramanian, for joining us on the show. Double-digit growth rate of 21.4% for the first quarter of 21-22 appears impressive, but, and there's a big but here, it comes from a very low base, given the fact that the economy contracted by as much as 24.4% in quarter one of 2021 during the lockdown. So how do we read these numbers? Are you all window dressing them by saying, look at double-digit growth, when the reality is you start from a very low base?
Thank you very much, Rajdeep, for inviting me. So firstly, what we have to keep in mind, Rajdeep, is that this quarter of this, the first quarter of this financial year, we had a very intense second wave. The last year, first quarter, also we had the first wave. Now, despite the second wave of the pandemic, which we know was far more intense, the GDP growth has been 20.1%. And if you would recall, last year around the same time, after the decline had happened of 24.4%, I had mentioned that there was a V-shaped recovery that was on. We had predicted the V-shaped recovery, and that has indeed manifested, in the Q2, Q3 numbers, and again now in this quarter as well. So the recovery clearly is on, and that the prediction of the recovery was predicated on the fact that the decline happened only because of the lockdown and had nothing to do with the fundamentals of the economy, which is exactly what we've seen over the last five quarters.
But Dr. Subramanian, when you say a V-shaped recovery, there will be those, and already there are those who are commenting, look, we still aren't anywhere near pre-COVID numbers. When we get to pre-COVID numbers, then we can talk of a genuine recovery. Until then, the economy remains fragile. These numbers even now are nowhere close to what the economy was pre-pandemic. And that's the concern, that we still haven't come out of a pre-pandemic economic slowdown. Do you really believe, therefore, that we are seeing a sustainable economic recovery, or is it an extremely fragile one, based, as I said earlier, on the fact that you are working from a very low base?
I think what we have to keep in mind is that clearly the increase has been, sharp. And if you would recall, as I mentioned, when the V-shaped recovery was predicted last year, there weren't that many people who actually believed that there was indeed a V-shaped recovery of this magnitude that was possible. The fact that that has indeed transpired is the first thing that we have to take into account. That is indicative of the fundamentals of the economy. Second, we are still amidst the pandemic, and this is the quarter where, there was a very intense second wave. And despite that second wave, where there were, restrictions that had to be placed, and one of the key things that was done different this quarter was that the restrictions were placed at the state level. As a result, they were heterogeneous in their intensity, and they were also asynchronous in their timing. But we did see, your retail activity, grocery activity, etc., and the Google mobility indicators sharply declining in the month of, April, and especially in the month of March because of the restrictions that were placed. despite those restrictions, there has been a 20.1% increase, of course, from the low base. But I think we do have to take into account the fact that this increase has happened, despite the second wave. And so it is indicative of the recovery. If you look at it cumulatively, take into account the Q2, Q3 recovery that had happened and this quarter as well, I think the recovery is clearly on.
But when you keep saying the recovery is on in the context of lockdown 2020-21 between what happened immediately after COVID 1.0. There is no recovery as yet, Dr. Subramanian, in comparison to pre-pandemic. The fear is, and remember, since 2016, end of 2016, we've been seeing a slowdown in the economy. So how are we going to emerge from what some are calling the slowdown trap?
So this is something that, Rajdeep, we had clearly highlighted. And I think I've spoken about this on multiple occasions, that the slowdown that happened pre-pandemic was primarily because of the problems in the financial sector, which basically were those that were created by the bad loans pre-2014. I think that is absolutely clear. Second, we are still amidst the pandemic. On the one hand, we are talking about the possibility of a third wave, in which we think actually, given the vaccination and the seroprevalence, may not be as intense. So we are clearly not yet, away from the pandemic. The pandemic has not finished yet. And if you look at the Q2, Q3 numbers, if you recall, we had actually a positive growth. India is the only country that has recorded, two consecutive quarters of growth up until last year during the pandemic. No other country had that. So when you cumulatively take into account the fact that, the 2 quarters we had growth, and this quarter also, despite a very, very intense wave, do keep in mind, this second wave was far, far more intense than the first wave. And so, I think the key point to take away is that we've learned to actually manage the economy, despite the pandemic. And I think that is something which is very important for us to keep in mind as we are going forward. So I think the recovery is on. Of course, till basically the service sectors are impacted because of the pandemic. I think full recovery will take time. But I think especially if you look at construction, manufacturing, these have shown very good growth. And with the vaccination also going very strong, I think the service sector should actually also revive going forward.
It's interesting you mentioned the service sector, because there's a sense that this is a sectoral recovery. There's some good news on the construction front, on the manufacturing front, but service sector still remains down. Quality jobs in particular still difficult to find. And that in a way is predicated on just how long the pandemic will last. So the fear of the pandemic, is that the next big challenge in a sense? That until you actually get a recovery in real terms, unless consumer spending increases, the service sector revives, this cannot be a sustained recovery. This will remain fragile?
No, I wouldn't call it fragile. As I've actually been mentioning, if you look at the consumption grew close to 20%. Investment grew at almost 55% compared to the pre-pandemic levels. Of course, from low bases, undeniably. But do keep in mind, we're actually making an apples to apples comparison, because both last year and this year were impacted severely by the pandemic. If anything, this time, the first quarter was impacted even more. The second wave was far more intense, and yet we basically had this growth. I think that is something which we have to keep in mind. The pandemic itself, because it actually requires social distancing, the contact-based contact-sensitive sectors are the most impacted, and they have been impacted, significantly in this quarter as well. And I think as the vaccination proceeds, and that is the most important part in terms of reviving the contact-based, the contact-sensitive sectors going forward, that we continue pushing on the vaccination. If you look at the month of August, for the first time, we've done 1 crore doses a day. And I think, we've vaccinated 64 crore people. Do keep in mind, this is double the population of the entire United States. That's what we vaccinated. So I think, for a country our size, being able to do that kind of vaccination actually is quite important for us to be able to revive the contact, sensitive sectors as well, which will be important for the recovery to proceed further.
So in conclusion, going ahead, there are those experts who are saying the economic activity in the first quarter benefited primarily from healthy central and state government capital spending, record capital expenditure outlay on certain high multiplier infrastructure projects. Going ahead, do you see this to be the way forward? Because there are those who say, where is the minimum income support to those who've suffered the most? Many economists are recommending that as the way ahead to stimulate demand. How do you see the road ahead over the next 6 months?
So firstly, let me clarify, Rajdeep. We have been providing free food to a large section of the population. Almost 80 crore people have been provided free food over the last almost 16, 17 months. Apart from that, 500 rupees is being provided to widows, and also to the PM Kisan transfers are being made. So I think when you add the in-kind together with the with the cash transfers as well, they are actually going to the ones that require the most. I will contrast, for instance, in the United States, they're even giving checks of $5,000 to those that are in college, actually studying at places like the University of Chicago, which is clearly not well-directed spending. And India has been far more, prudent in its fiscal spending. At the same time, the significant reforms that have been done are actually, ones that will really push growth forward. And this year, do keep in mind, actually, I think, we are all talking as if this V-shaped recovery was taken for granted. I do remember, and last year you were the one who were questioning me on this, whether the V-shaped recovery will manifest, and you had severe doubts about that. I do remember that. And and given that, I think if you keep in mind, the V-shaped recovery has indeed manifested. So let's look at that, take that into account. The fact that the recovery is indeed going well, and with the vaccination proceeding, ahead, I think the contact sensitive sectors will also get revived.
So let me therefore ask you, since you keep mentioning the V-shaped recovery, do you really believe the feel-good factor is back? I'm in Mumbai. Yes, there are lots of people who are positive about near-term growth, but there are also those who are concerned. Do you believe that the V-shaped recovery that you keep talking about is a sign of a feel-good factor back? Or is there still a sense of concern going ahead of whether the economy can really return to pre-2016 levels?
So I absolutely, and I think, as I had mentioned in my press conference as well, this year the budgeted growth is what we expect. In the coming year, FY23, we are expecting between 6.5 to 7% growth, and thereby, an acceleration, further as well. And let me remind you, Rajdeep, actually, especially on your choice of words, the one that I have not just talked about V-shaped recovery, the data actually clearly shows that V-shaped recovery has manifested. If you look at the GDP numbers, it looks nothing but a V. So it is not just talk, it is actually manifested in the data. Let's give credit where it is due, that there has been a V-shaped recovery. Undeniably, the contact-based sensitive sectors have actually been impacted. And as the vaccination proceeds ahead, there will be recovery as well. And India, because of the significant reforms, is in a much better shape actually going forward. And you will see that.
Okay, Dr. Subramanian, we will wait to see what lies ahead. But for now, for giving us a sense of where you see the state of the economy, thanks very much for joining me.
Thank you.